After eating at Everyday Chinese with 4 international students, I realized that the people here from other countries are able to find a balance between holding on to their home culture and assimilating into American culture. They don't completely reject one or the other. They literally do like find a balance. For example, Jenny was one of the people I ate with, and she's from Thailand, and she holds on to her home culture by the fact that she joined the TSA, the Thai Student Association, but at the same time she assimilates into American culture in the fact that she's an athlete and she plays golf, a very American sport. But the other people too, they just, the way that they spoke, it really sounds like they do try to find a balance between the two. I mean, we were eating at an authentic Chinese restaurant, so they do, you know, the other 3 people I was eating with were from China, so they definitely like to eat food that they're used to, but at the same time, they're very, like, becoming very assimilated into American culture, but they just find a balance. The other thing that I realized was when I had Easter dinner with 3 non-Americans, I realized how surprisingly normal they are, especially, you know, considering I'd never met somebody from Bhutan or from Uganda, and I just, you know, I said I'm gonna, you know, just act normal around them. I mean, because they're just people like me, and everything went well. I mean, I just realized that if you know, if you want to make somebody from a different country seem familiar to you, you just have to treat them like they're familiar. You just have to treat them like they're just like you. And they just turn out to be more alike to me than I expected. After going to the If You Are the One event, I realized that I hate feeling like a minority. I hate being the only white person in a room with 300 people that are a different race than me. It just felt so uncomfortable. And I realized that I took for granted all these years that I went to a high school where most of the people were white. And now I got to see what it maybe felt like for the few minority students in my high school. But at the same time, I realized that I'm also very fascinated by other cultures, and I like being around other cultures. Maybe not quite in that extreme sense where I was the only white person, but I do like participating in events where I can experience another culture. That's why I enjoyed going out to the Chinese restaurant, because I got to speak one-on-one with 4 international students, and that was just so interesting to me to hear their different perspectives and see how they're similar from me, see how they're different from me. But I just realized how much I do enjoy learning about other cultures and experiencing things that make me feel uncomfortable. I mean, what wasn't a good feeling, but I was still having fun, if that makes sense. While I was at If You Are the One, I had no clue what was going on. Even with Bruce translating some of it, I still was just so confused. I didn't get how the game worked, and this made me realize that if you put a student that doesn't speak English in a traditional classroom, they're not going to understand what's going on either. They need to know English before they go in an English classroom, and if they are in ELL, they need to be put in a special room, because simply just being around the language is not going to help you learn the language. I left that event and I still didn't know any Chinese, and I didn't understand what happened at the event. So I learned that if you put a non-English speaking student in an English classroom, they're not gonna learn anything. And then when I was at Easter dinner, I realized that, you know, not everybody knows about the American traditions. you know, the two people that were from other countries, they didn't know about the Easter Bunny or Easter eggs, which to Americans is a very trivial thing that, oh, everybody knows about that. But non-Americans and even some non-Christian Americans don't know about that. So I have to go into a classroom as a teacher assuming that my students, that some of my students aren't going to know about American holidays, Christian holidays, and the traditions that go along with them. So that might be something I need to, you know, explain. You know, if I have around Easter time a picture of a bunny in my classroom, maybe not every student is going to understand why. So I would have to explain that to them. I can't assume.